both gauges. I think I have $15 in both gauges. I also have one for the fuel, but I want to get a special line for the fuel because I don't want fuel in my cab if it was to bust. So I want to get special fuel line or special lines for that, so it doesn't cause me any issue. See, it's still holding pretty well, just a little above 6. We're right at 7 pounds right now, and we've gone a good distance. Let's see if I can. Traffic's not allowing me to really hammer on it, so if I can just get a stretch to kind of goose it a little bit. Just dang traffic. My turbo pressure gauge is a 30-pound PSI, but it never goes more than 15 to 20 at max when I'm having to hammer it. But these are direct gauges. There's no electronics to them. I prefer direct. I'm getting honest data as quickly as it's happening. No delay, no worry about wire shorts or anything like that. I'm getting it as it's truly happening. Still holding just around 7, just a little more than 7. And there we go. I'm coming to the end of my road. I'll go ahead and show you my bottles or my bottle, my line, and we'll see what that's all about. Alright, you guys, this is my coolant reservoir, bottle, whatever you want to call it. This is my OEM cap off of the old bottle. This is my MPT joint with my 3/8 PEX tube piping. It's 120 PSI rated. I have the exact same setup on my turbo tube. If you do it on the turbo tube, make sure you take this whole housing off, drill it, tap it, clean it, wipe it out really good, use some brake cleaner, make sure you got all the little flakes out of it, then mount it back or put the knuckle on there, the joint on there, then make sure it's clean again, because sometimes putting the threaded joint on there, it'll knock some chips loose if you didn't get them all. Make sure they're all wiped off, put it on, then you know you got a clean system. And that is, you know, the tube next to it, so you know what you got there. All right, now I see a lot of mechanics using their test tubes right here. I wouldn't recommend that for myself because of fluid dynamics. When you have pressure or a GPM coming from your pump, that could kind of give you some false readings coming off that one or that one. And I know some of you might notice that because you have a negative flow down here underneath the bottle that goes to the pump, and then the pump pumps through the motor and it returns to your top from your top. Okay, now if some of you are having gas problems and you accelerate, and then when you come off the accelerator you actually notice the pressure of your gauge go up, that's because you're no longer taking fluid out of the tank, but you're still getting fluid pushed in by both your gas problem, being you have a head gasket problem, plus you still have fluid being pushed out of the motor. So that could cause it to go up a little bit when you come off the gas and notice the gauge actually climbed and not fell. I think coming off the lid with a tester is safer, and definitely this at the highest point of the tank, because you're getting actual gas pressure and you're not getting any liquid at all. You might be getting water vapors from the steam, but it's not going to really make difference. You're getting a more accurate reading off of this in your gauge than what you would be getting off of this. Is it a massive difference? No, not really. But me, I like the big difference because I'd rather, because not only that, you're getting fluid into your sensor and it could hold your sensor back from falling backwards because your liquid, it's not going to move. There's nothing in your gauge to push that liquid back out, but air will evacuate and vacuum itself out. So, and gas will do the same. So your gauge could be trapping liquid in it, and it's just compounding and giving you a false reading where just gas will evacuate as quickly as it was put in. So that's why some of the reasons I prefer this method and the cap method over the fitting here. Now, when you put the fitting here and you're seeing massive changes, then it is almost guaranteed that you have a head gasket failure. I will say that. But this will give you a slow general warning that you're pushing the red line of getting a failure. And that's why I prefer this. Is it a major difference? No, but it gives you long-term awareness of knowing, hey, I'm noticing differences. Maybe I need to start saving the money to prepare for this overhaul, because it is not cheap doing the head gaskets and studs on this thing. Unfortunately, I have not been put in that place yet. I've taken precautions to watch the truck and how it acts and what it does. I went ahead and got all aluminum radiator with extra square inches of fluid. It holds more fluid. This also holds more fluid than the original. The new water pump, I did not have a failure on my water pump. I just upgraded it, and I noticed at least a 2-pound GPM change and around a 1-pound gas pressure change, because more liquid is now being forced into the bottle at a faster rate, which compresses the gas and the air within the tank while it's heating, which also causes a higher pressure, which changes the gauge, which I'm good with because I noticed it has not changed, staying steady. It is a couple of pounds in overall higher, but I knew what it was prior to afterwards, so I'm not freaking out. I know what it is. I'm good with it. So if you do that and you change your water pump and you have one of these gauges and you notice a change, don't fret, don't worry. You're just getting more GPM through your pump, and it is actually a good thing. You're getting a faster flow, which you're keeping your engine a little bit cooler with the flow, and you're keeping the debris and particles down a little bit, especially if you have the bypass filter system like I have with the Wix filter on it. So that's what I got, and that's what I can say about this truck. So these are some of my points and some of the things I think about when I look at this truck, and some of my negatives on the kits that you can get that tap into the straight lines. Like I said, I'm not a fan because I don't feel like they're that accurate. I do feel like tapping directly into the tank is probably the best way at the highest point, because you want gases, you don't want liquids, especially liquids that can't completely evacuate themselves out of the line, so you get compound effect. Make sure your liquid is not overfilled, because if you're overfilled, you will also get false readings as well, both ways, even with my way and with their way. You can also run the risk of boiling your cap and, in a sense, destroying it as well. So yeah, try not to overfill. Stay at the level it requires. If you let it run low and you have to fill it, leave the cap off for a minute and wait for the thermostat to open up, to let the gas out, to let the air out of it, because the air bubbles could cause problems too. So just make sure the air gets out of it. I always leave the cap off, listen for it to bubble and boil out. You'll hear it when it boils out, and then start filling it again until you get to that level, and then cap it, turn it off, and let it sit and see how much flows back into the bottle. Sometimes it'll grow a little bit, sometimes it don't. So just try that. There's really nothing much more that I can say about the 6.0 liter when it comes to the overflow or the reservoir and the coolant pressure gauge. I think it's a really good idea. It's a very cheap product. When you buy it all, you're gonna have to assemble it. It's not a kit. You're gonna have to buy all the pieces on Amazon, and you've seen what I had, so it's not gonna be hard to figure it out. 3/8 120 PEX, pressure PEX with joints. The gauges are also on Amazon. I used a 90 degree with the fitting coming directly out of the back, so that way I could put it in the dashboard smooth and flush. You could cut the dashboard. I would recommend cut the hole a little small and kind of like heat it and force it in there a little bit so it doesn't move. Or you can make the plate. I made the plate because I also want to add a high pressure fuel gauge as well. It has a little position underneath it for it. But yeah, that's it. If you want to try it, just use those